Hey everybody, welcome back to the Working Man's Whiskey. I'm Bobby. A little under the weather today, guys, so had to come home early from work, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't like just sitting around doing nothing, so thought I'd squeeze a little review in here today. The one I want to review today, guys, is one that you're probably all familiar with, Cutty Sark. It's a pretty famous blended Scotch whiskey. Been around since 1923. It's pretty historical, guys. It's been in it's made appearances in several movies. It was in Goodfellas. There's a scene where they're transporting some Cutty Sark and a bunch of other films. But it's one of those whiskeys that I feel it kind of gets lost in the shuffle a little bit. There's a lot of good. Great single malt Scotch whiskeys out there, and then blended Scotch whiskeys like this seem to get kind of lost in the shuffle now. There are some really good blended Scotch whiskeys out there, and I feel like this is one of them, guys. This is one that maybe you don't necessarily rave to your friends about, but it's always reliable, and it's a nice option to have. It's definitely a good bargain. Around here, you can get a full-size bottle of Cutty Sark for anywhere from, I've seen it from like $16.99 to $21.99, somewhere usually around $18, $19. So it's a good deal. So I want to talk about it today, guys. While I've been home today, I took some time. People ask me who I watch as far as other reviewers go, and there are a lot of good reviewers out there, guys. So if I don't mention you, your channel, I apologize. But when I started out, I was watching guys like Ralphie, of course, and Jason Pyle and Jason Deadly and Amy Douglas. A lot of really good reviewers out there. Today, at home, just I had to get up and do something, guys. But for a little while, I was sitting watching a few reviews, and watching channels like the Whiskey Wasteland and the Malted Man Cave and Sow Leg and several Trinity and C. The Whiskey Scout. So to all those other reviewers out there, thanks for doing what you do. Watching other reviewers, guys, makes me want to keep doing these videos. It's fun. I like to hear other people's passion for whiskey, see what they pick up in different kinds of whiskey, and other. Also, I like getting other ideas from other reviewers for whiskey that I may have missed or never had. And I appreciate everything, all the hard work you guys are doing out there. So thanks a lot. Anyway, wanted to fit this in today, guys. It's going to be a fairly short review because it's I'm just not all that comfortable right now, guys. Just a little congested and been having a good headache for the past 24 hours or so that at times my head feels like it's gonna pop. So I haven't been feeling too good. I'm sure we're getting some of the smoke from the fires around here, so that probably isn't helping too much. But anyway, guys, enough of the talk. Back to Cutty Sark. So as I mentioned, this has been around since 1923, and I know a little bit of the history on it, guys. But one source that I've been going to a lot for different kinds of whiskey, not necessarily all the ones that we have on here that I've been reviewing on here, but different kinds of whiskey that sound interesting that I haven't been able to locate around here, but that I'd like to find out more about. A lot of that information comes from this book here, I've mentioned it before. It's a field guide to whiskey, an expert compendium to take your passion and knowledge to the next level. And it's by a guy named Hans Afringa. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but there's the book, guys. It's pretty interesting. It tells you anything you want to know about whiskey, from different kinds of whiskey, different kinds of popular whiskey, whiskey backgrounds, how to make whiskey, and it's very interesting. It's a very good book. But there is a little. I opened right to it. There's a little um, piece in here on Cutty Sark. You can see right there, page 110, and I'll read you what it says. Kind of talks about the name Cutty Sark and how it began. It says, "What is the story behind Cutty Sark? Tom O'Shanter is one of Robert Burns' most famous poems. It served as the inspiration for a whiskey brand created and launched in 1923. The poem, written in 1790, includes a paragraph describing poor Tom being pursued by a fast-running wild witch wearing a short nightgown known as a Cutty Sark. Almost 80 years later, in 1870, Captain Jock Willis used the name for his new tea clipper, designed to sail unusually fast for its time. Its maiden trip brought the Cutty Sark from London to Shanghai, and the ship would complete 8 such expeditions, becoming famous in its own right. In 1923, London-based wine and whiskey merchant Berry Brothers and Rudd wanted to launch a new blended, easy-drinking whiskey in the United States. Mind you, this was during Prohibition, and hired a Scottish artist, James McBay, to come up with a catchy name. Since the ship had been in the news constantly, Cutty Sark was an obvious choice. From then on, it was smooth sailing for the blend. Excuse me, guys, I'm not with it today, but there you go. That's how Cutty Sark came to be, and it is, I believe, from the Speyside region of Scotland. Let's give it a pour. And I've had this for a little while, guys. I've had Cutty Sark several times in the past, so even if my nose isn't completely cooperating with me today, I kind of know what we're dealing with here today. And thought this definitely deserved a place on here. So look at the color, and it's very, very light. Very light color. Not a whole lot of stick to the glass. Don't know what the age is on this, but I assume it's probably a blend of some fairly, maybe not too young, but some fairly young Scotch whiskey. So take a nose. All right, and my nose is still working, so that's a good sign. All right, guys. Like with a lot of Speysides, I get a lot of light fruit in this. I get apple right away. I get maybe a little bit of pear. I get honey, definitely a lot of honey in there. Some vanilla. A lot of floral notes in there as well. Let's take a little sip here, guys. And on the palate, you got a lot of the same stuff going on. A lot of some really good honey notes. Really good honey notes. A little bit of apple in there. Light fruit note. Maybe some. Yeah, we're just dealing with a lot of light fruit here, guys. Maybe some apricot. Maybe. Definitely some floral notes in there as well. Let's take another sip. A lot of vanilla, little bit of wood, not overly woody though. And it's just as I said before, there's nothing fancy about this whiskey. It's not one that you're gonna, the people necessarily rave to their friends about. It's a good blended Scotch whiskey, um, and I don't mind sipping this at all. If I was going to a friend's house and this is what they had, I'd be sipping on it. Yeah, definitely. I'd buy it again at that price point. This little tiny bottle was $2.50, but you can get a full size bottle for somewhere between probably high teens, low 20s, somewhere in there. And it's definitely a good, reliable whiskey, guys. Just a nice, simple whiskey. If I had any complaint, and it wouldn't be a complaint, just anything to say, it's that it's a little one dimensional. It's if you were to ask somebody to describe their typical Speyside or something and bottle it up, this would be it. This is just your average, tastes like your average Speyside whiskey. But it's good. It's really good. It's refreshing. Got those fruit notes in there, the honey, floral notes, vanilla, and it's a nice whiskey to just have around, guys. So definitely try this out. For a score, I'm not going to go too high on it, but it's it's a good 82 out of 100, which I feel is that's a very solid score for whiskey. And again, I would not hesitate to drink this again or recommend it to somebody. Wouldn't rave necessarily about it, but it'd be one that I'd say, hey, if you want to maybe try out a good blended whiskey or what a Speyside whiskey tastes like, get a bottle of Cutty Sark. So it's a good one, guys. So that's it for this one, guys. Next review, we're going to get back to the Oregon whiskeys that my mom brought back from her trip. I think we're going to go with a single malt from Oregon next time, which I know is getting more readily available because I found it at the Bottle Barn here in Sonoma County. So know it's getting more available. And after that, we're going to go with a rye whiskey from there, from Oregon as well. And then I'm going to go with something, it's a bourbon, but it was inspired by a review from my buddy Adam at the Whiskey Wasteland. Sorry, Adam. The Whiskey Wasteland. And, I've had it before in different bars and, at a nice, some of the nicer bars, I've liked it every time, but I haven't done a review. I've never owned my own bottle until now. So looking forward to that one. And that's it. Until next time, cheers.